Chat Sports, it's tackle football season, and all year long, we're going to provide you the best Who Dat coverage you won't find anywhere else. I'm your expert, Carter the Power Bryant, and today we're going through 5 off-season stories, some of which are more serious than others, but we're just going to go through them, and I want your comments below. I respond to as many as I possibly can. You can tell me how ugly I am. Let's do this, okay? We're in this together, all right? Let's start with the first story. 3 players who have shined and 3 players who have struggled after the first week of camp. This is a good little piece from USA Today, and I want to go through these players that they have mentioned. First off, Marshon Lattimore. It's kind of like, duh, like he's one of the best corners in the NFL. Love it. I think he got shunned in the NFL Top 100. We will get to that in a moment. But, of course, Marshon Lattimore doesn't take snaps off. One of the silky smooth corners in the NFL. So it's good to see him having a good first week of camp. I want to shout out Trey Hendrickson, one of the hardest workers on the Saints team. I've been told by multiple people at camp that he has not taken a snap off. He's going into this year with really a lot of pressure on him. They're hoping this former draft pick can step up for him, provide Cam Jordan some snaps off for some pass rush off the bench. And also, Trey Hendrickson got in another fight at camp. And I know sometimes people are like, no, what? That's not a good thing. Yes, it is. That means he's taking it serious. I love people that get in fights in camp. Guess who else did? Steve Smith, one of the great wide receivers of all time. So I'm all about that energy in the offseason from Trey Hendrickson. And I got to show some love for Jared Cook. Yes, fingers crossed that he could step up like he did with the Rams, like he did with the Raiders. He could be a deep threat that the Saints desperately need at tight end. And, you know, you look at the Saints' options. We'll look at Alvin Kamara. We'll look at Michael Thomas here in just a moment. Michael Thomas, hey, got some money. What's up with that? We might make it rain later. You never know with my videos. Anyway, Jared Cook is also a very good red zone player, and that is huge in the Saints offense because Drew Brees is an elite red zone quarterback. So those are 3 players who have shined so far. Now, here's some 3 ain'ts. Get it, Saints? Anyway, Saints players that have struggled so far, and to me, I want to start with the biggest. Ken Crawley, okay? This has been a rough time for Ken Crawley fans. I know you Ken Crawley fans are out there. So far, he's had a rough camp. He's been burned multiple times, sometimes by backups. That's why the Saints made that Eli Apple trade. And to me, you should be concerned if you're a Saints fan because you need depth at defensive back. Injuries happen. You need players that can't get burned by all these great defensive backs that are out there. So, Ken Crawley, definitely a player to keep an eye on during the preseason games. 2 more that I'm not as worried about if you're a Saints fan. Latavius Murray and Lil'Jordan Humphrey. Let's start with Murray. Not really practiced so far due to injuries. The Saints are kind of slow playing him because he is a veteran running back. He is filling in that crucial Mark Ingram role in the Saints offense. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would be really perturbed by the fact that he's preserving his body for the season or the Saints are slow playing him. So I wouldn't panic so much. Lil'Jordan Humphrey, the same thing. I'm sorry. I'm not sure if he was going to be a big piece to the Saints offense anyway. They are looking for depth at wide receiver behind Michael Thomas, behind the Traquan Smiths. So, Lil'Jordan Humphrey, he's been outplayed so far by Cyril Grayson. Yes, an adult is named Cyril, and he's not 85 years old at a nursing home. And then also Emmanuel Butler's also had a good camp for the Saints. So Lil'Jordan Humphrey, who's known as this amazing special teams player, so far wide receiver's not really broken the bank or has really shined at any type of level. So if you're a Saints fan, you should be just a little worried. But once again, that's why you have preseason. He's going to get some balls thrown his way. If he makes a few plays, that can get the confidence going, and that could change the tide for the Texas grad. Now, listen, Chat Sports, We need to connect on YouTube right now. Mash that subscribe button so you don't miss a Saints, Cowboys, anything video. Once again, at Chat Sports on all social medias and at chatsports.com. On to the next big offseason story. It's not necessarily big. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but it's what everyone is talking about. This NFL top 100 list, okay? 4 Saints made it. 5-ish if you include Mark Ingram at 80, even though he's not with the Saints, but he made this list as a Saint because he was a Saint last year. He came in at number 80. But all the 4 players that were in this top 100 actually ended up in the top 50, starting off with number 2, Drew Brees. Yes, Drew Brees was ranked ahead of not only Aaron Rodgers, not only Tom Brady, but Patrick Mahomes, the reigning NFL MVP, the number 1 overall player. Can't really argue against Aaron Donald. He's one of the highest rated players ever on Pro Football Focus. Even Drew Brees told Dan Patrick earlier this week that Aaron Donald was unquestionably the number 1 player in the NFL. Now, for Drew Brees being number 2, I'm fine with it. If you're basing off of what happened last year and mixing in with who actually is the best player right now, I'm fine with it. Tom Brady, yes, he won that 6th Super Bowl ring, but the last 2 wins in the playoff had more to do with Belichick's ace defensive plans against 2 of the best offensive minds in the NFL. Come on, anyone that watched those games knew it was defense. Yeah, Tom Brady made some clutch throws late, but it had more to do with Belichick stepping it up on defense. Perfectly fine with Drew Brees being there, even ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Because here's the thing, I don't rate a quarterback as an elite quarterback until I see what he can do in the second year. Because now defenses know about you. They have a whole offseason to prepare for you, okay? And with everything that's happened with the Chiefs offseason, no longer having Kareem Hunt back there, I still think Mahomes is going to be great with the no-look passes, but I still want to see more. So I am fine with Drew Brees. I understand he's up there in age. I understand he declined at the end of last year. I understand he missed some big throws against the Rams. All those things NFL fans and Saints fans should be worried about. I think a lot of people that are outraged that Drew Brees was ahead of those other 3 gunslingers, I'm fine with that. I still think Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback in the NFL. I would have put him number 2. But based on what we saw last year, I'm fine with Drew Brees there. Now, for Michael Thomas at number 13, they had him behind Julio Jones and DeAndre Hopkins. Fine with that as well. In fact, I would put Hopkins ahead of Julio Jones. So I'm fine with that. Michael Thomas had the best 3-year start of any wide receiver in the history of the NFL. We'll get to more Michael Thomas in a moment. Now, this was interesting. Alvin Kamara came in at number 14, which actually makes him the number 2 running back in the NFL behind Todd Gurley. I actually agree that Alvin Kamara is the second best running back in the NFL. I just don't believe he should be behind Todd Gurley. I think the best running back in the NFL was actually ranked 4th, Ezekiel Elliott. And once again, we're not talking about the future. I think a lot of people would take Saquon Barkley for the future. I would take Alvin Kamara from this point forward. But as of right now, I think Ezekiel Elliott matters more to his offense, more so than any running back in the NFL, and that includes Saquon. I love Zeke. I love what he does in pass protection. I think he does everything well as a running back, outside, of course, his off-the-field activities. But I'm fine with Alvin Kamara being number 2. I would move Todd Gurley back. I would even put Todd Gurley behind maybe even a Christian McCaffrey, knowing his injury history and whatnot. And I saw the Rams last year. They were fine without Todd Gurley on their run to the Super Bowl. I'm fine with Alvin Kamara being the second best running back in the NFL. Going on down to Cameron Jordan at number 41. I agree he's a top 50 player in the NFL, but I look a few slots ahead of him. Another defensive lineman, Akeem Hicks, he had one great year with the Chicago Bears. And yeah, he's been good for a longer period than just one great year. But there is no way that one NFL general manager out there would take Akeem Hicks over Cameron Jordan. Are you kidding me? Cameron Jordan is a top 30 player in the NFL. Defensive end is the most important position in the NFL, and Cameron Jordan does everything. I mean everything right as a defensive end. There's no weakness in this game. Run stopping. He can even set up inside as a 3-tech and give you a good pass rush. As an edge rusher, as blowing up double teams. He can do it all. Heck, he could probably even play coverage if you ask him to. To me, he's the best overall edge defender in the NFL. There's some other great ones. Don't get me wrong. There's some guys that can do a little bit of everything. But when you talk about that tree stump of an end, that is Cameron Jordan, he makes all the different kinds of plays that you need, like a Khalil Mack, like a Von Miller. But I consider more of those guys outside linebackers than actual defensive ends. So I want you to weigh in. Do you agree with the ESPN the NFL top 100 list? Do you think some Saints were missed on that list? I had 2. Marshon Lattimore I thought should have been in the top 100, and Ryan Ramczyk. So I want your comments below. Also, another weigh-in question. Michael Thomas, is he worth being paid the highest wide receiver salary ever in the history of the NFL? I believe he should. I mean, he had the best 3-year start of any wide receiver in the history of the league. Not only receptions-wise, but also Pro Football Focus's grading. So yes, I do agree that he deserves this money. Type Y for yes, type N for no. A few more storylines. Drew Brees mentoring Zion Williamson after Zion has only been there a few weeks. Love this. Absolutely love this. Now, for those that aren't familiar, the Saints and the Pelicans ownership groups are the exact same groups, the Bensons. And what's really cool about that is the Smoothie King Center is right next door to the Superdome. And a lot of those staffs, social media and everything, they intertwine. I know a few of them. They're great people. And it's a good thing because you have this intersection of Pelicans players going to Saints practices and Brees going to see Zion Williamson at the shoot-around. We had Zion do the quarterback challenge with Drew Brees. This is great. This is making Zion feel at home. He just said that he wants to spend his entire career with the Pelicans. Yes, I know he's only 19, but that should be something that should excite you as a New Orleans fan. And that quarterback challenge video was one of the best Drew Brees quarterback challenge videos. I would like to see this, though. I think Zion Williamson can throw a football farther than any Saints quarterback right now. He can chunk it. I've seen the videos. So, I think it's great. I absolutely love it. I want to throw another audience question out there, and this is for the people out there that love to think, okay? Do you think Zion Williamson will win more championships in New Orleans than Drew Brees? Who's bringing more championships to the Big Easy? Now, of course, Drew already has 1, and Zion has 0. I am believing in Zion Williamson to bring not 1, not 2, but 3 titles to the Big Easy. Yes, indeed. So I'm going with Zion Williamson. Let me know in the comments. Like I said, I reply to as many as I possibly can. Now, 2 more stories. We're going to roll through these. JT Barrett was cut, the Saints quarterback. No big deal to me. He's not. In fact, they could re-sign him any day. So the Saints currently only have 3 quarterbacks going into this preseason run. Drew Brees, who's obviously not going to play a whole lot. Teddy Bridgewater and Taysom Hill. Obviously, Taysom Hill is used for more than just the quarterback position. And I think the Saints are going to get a good long look at Teddy Bridgewater, who, yes, is great in the locker room. And yes, he is great with the locker room dances. But let's be honest. Last year in the one regular season game he played against the Panthers, Week 17, he got to start. He wasn't that good. I was at that game. He just wasn't that great. So the Saints are going to get a good see if Teddy Bridgewater is going to be that guy. And I'm also interested to see where JT Barrett ends up. Does he come back to New Orleans? I loved him at Ohio State. The Saints obviously love him in the locker room as well. So we shall see what happens with the former Ohio State record setter. Let's go on ahead and connect on social media. Yes, I follow back at Carter the Power on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all of it at Carter the power. Now, last but not least, we all love Madden. We all love video games. The Saints were rated the third best team in the entire NFL on Madden. Okay? They are tied with the Packers. Really? And the Patriots. Okay, that's good. But at number 1, they had the Eagles at 89. And at number 2, they had the Cowboys at 88. Are you kidding me? The Eagles with made out of glass Carson Wentz? Really? They're not even close to being the Super Bowl favorites. They're at 14-1 right now. Where are the Chiefs? What about the Chiefs? The Chiefs are clearly a better team than the Eagles. And then this is the Cowboys at number 2 at 88. Are you kidding me? Dallas? They don't. Their best players in Mexico. What's up with this? Is Zeke even going to come back? You really believe Dak Prescott is a Super Bowl winning quarterback? Are you kidding me? At number 88? Come on. Saints and Patriots should be tied for first. They have the most complete rosters. They have a Super Bowl winning quarterback. They have an elite head coach. It's simple, okay? Chat Sports, it's been fun, baby. Like I told you we might make it rain on these things, baby. Yeah, I don't have as much money as Michael Thomas. That was $17. Anyway, let's connect on social media at Carter the Power, at Chat Sports. We shall have fun. It's football season. Rejoice!